All right, let's wrap up the commentary on the notes for topic 4 by having a quick look and a few comments about regional contrasts in manufacturing. Regional contrasts more generally. This will get us back to north-south issues and take us into our next topic, which is going to be the economics of slavery in the long 19th century. Okay, we've looked at these numbers before. Let's make sure we're familiar with a couple of basic points. I'm having a little trouble here with the screen. Give me one sec. All right, so anyhow, sectional conflict and the looming Civil War are a defining feature of the politics of the 19th century, and economic historians have sometimes provided some useful insights for historians who are trying to make sense of the nature and meanings of the huge issues lurking around when we start talking about the Civil War and slavery and freedom and such. Anyhow, for the purposes of the 310, let's recall the key point for topic 4 is the amount of manufacturing output. Let's look at the close of the antebellum period, the eve of the Civil War. In $1860, for the U.S. as a whole, we're talking about manufacturing output of $60 per person. In the U.S. as a whole, we're talking about $130 of output per person. You do 60 divided by 130, and you get 46% of GDP being manufacturing. And that sounds high to me. I'm suspicious that I might have messed up the numbers a bit. But anyhow, let's focus on the regional contrasts. With the U.S. at $60 in per capita manufacturing GDP. One thing to do is to focus on the South and say, look, the South, only $17. The South is non-industrial. There you go, talking about a South-North issue if you want. You could focus on the North as a whole. Do I do that here? No, I should do that for you. Let's just give me one sec. Okay, here's the number we've looked at earlier. This is making more sense now. We've got per capita manufacturing output. So value of manufacturing output per person. U.S. as a whole, $60, yeah. The North as a whole, $82. So that's, about 1/3 above the U.S. Key point for our purposes is to recognize the Northeast, $115 per person of manufacturing output, compared to the Midwest was $38 and the South was $17. So there we go. We're back to that old question. Do we want to focus on a north-south difference, 17 in comparison to 82? Or do we think that 82 is really confusing and confounding the matter that really we have two very different economies in the North? We have the Northeastern, Hamilton's vision, manufacturing and cities. The Midwest, yeah, it's got twice the manufacturing that the South does. So we're seeing a difference between the free agricultural-based economy and the slave agricultural-based economy. But both of them are much, much less industrialized than is the Northeast. So we just want to keep that issue in mind as we move ahead and start thinking about north-south issues, or perhaps better said, freedom slavery issues. Corresponding to the manufacturing differences, of course, we have the urbanization rates. Here, perhaps not, well, I'd say the same story, right? We've got the Northeast with 36% urbanization on the eve of the Civil War. The Midwest and the South very similar to each other in terms of 14 and 11%. Similarly, the proportion of the labor force in agricultural share of labor force, 35% in the Northeast. Double that when you get to the Midwest, more than double. And then even more agriculturally based in the South. But again, the 75 and the 90 together may be suggesting a agricultural similarity in contrast to the Northeast. I was a TA for this course with Stanley Engerman, and he used to say, you know, it sure looks like the Northeast is the strange region within this set of three. One way of looking at it, and something we'll pursue as we move on to our next topic. That wraps it up for now. Good health to all. Bye-bye.